Last night's Ahsoka episode was amazing, and I'm going to break it down. With that being said, let's get started. We start the episode with Sabine trying to reach Home 1 with Admiral Akbar's ship using the code Fulcrum. Ahsoka then tells Sabine that they face a difficult change, that the map must be destroyed to prevent Thrawn from returning. Sabine is against this, given that Ezra may be stuck forever. This is something that we see Baylan use against her later in the episode. There are some parallels here between Anakin and Sabine Wren. Best get away soon, which the Night Sister asks if there is a note of fear in Baylan's voice, to which Baylan responds, "This is experience." The title Fallen Jedi is powerful given what we're about to see later in the episode with Sabine, Ahsoka, and Baylan. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings. I think this is something that Ahsoka herself will be struggling with throughout the story, as we saw at the end of this episode. Hu Yang then makes progress with the ship, only to be attacked by an assassin droid. We see Hu Yang try and hold his own in one of the coolest droid fights we've seen in a long time. Hu Yang tells both of them to stick together, and that this is something that both of them ignore later on in the episode, showing that while they may get annoyed with Hu Yang, he was right. Hera Syndulla makes her way towards the ghost, to which Jason asks why he has to obey but she doesn't. Seeing Tivo is such a cool surprise. Elsbeth and Baylan's dialogue tells us that if calculations are wrong, they'll be lost to the void, and we learn that Baylan lost faith a long time ago. You can feel that he has a lot of anger, but is very conflicted, yet sure of his feelings. We see Sabine firing away towards Shin Bati, while Ahsoka is much more patient towards this Inquisitor. Now, I did a video on this Inquisitor, and that he was nothing more than smoke or magic created by Elsbeth. I love coming up with theories. They've been around a long time, before YouTube, before anything else that used to be on threads or conversations in comic book shops. Now, when it comes to Elsbeth being able to do this, it brings more excitement to see who else she might revive in order to help her efforts. We then see Ahsoka take the same stance against Marok that Anakin took against Count Dooku. I think the spinning lightsaber is something that by now Ahsoka has seen plenty of, so the intimidation factor just isn't the same. Now, I have theories on what more is coming if Elsbeth was able to essentially create Marok. You feel a sense of urgency with this episode that had me on the edge of my seat. Ahsoka approaches and Baylan says,
"Anakin spoke highly of you."
To which he then tries to make Ahsoka angry by asking a rhetorical question. Is that why you walked away? We then learn that Baylan is only interested in securing the future, a necessary movement one must destroy in order to create. Both lightsabers are ignited as the two change their form according to what the other is shifting to, carefully watching each other. Baylan is much bigger, and each swing has a very powerful force behind it. Your legacy and your master's was more of death and destruction, he tells Ahsoka. She then grabs the map but quickly lets go as she burns her hand. When Ahsoka sees Shin, you can see that upon realizing that Sabine isn't there, she force pushes Shin Hati, knocking her out. Ahsoka then yells to Sabine, telling her to destroy the map. This scene was very reminiscent of Darth Sidious, in which he tempts Anakin to do his bidding by relying on his emotions and desires. Baylan searches Sabine's feelings, reminding her that her family died on Mandalore, and that her only way of seeing Ezra again is to work together for that common journey, all while blaming Ahsoka for Sabine's inability to visit and save her family. Sabine is then force-choked. We can hear the sounds as Baylan sets the map back into place. Hu Yang then lets Hera know that they need assistance. As Hera approaches along with the X-Wings, we get to see and hear one of my favorite lines in Star Wars, "Lock in the S-foils." Elsbeth is informed about the fighters in front of her, choosing to ignore them, causing them to crash into each other. Jason Syndulla then says, "Mom, I have a bad feeling." And this is, of course, a line that has been said all throughout Star Wars, except it's not the complete line. And it makes us think that Jason potentially could be force sensitive himself, given that his dad was Kanan. Could also mean that he has a good observation about what's going on around him. Now, the shot with Hu Yang looking out, a very specific camera viewpoint, then cut to the water where Ahsoka fell, and all of a sudden, we're in the live action world between worlds. Anakin Skywalker says, "Snips," and tells her that he didn't expect to see her so soon, as she cautiously turns around to see Anakin in his Episode 3 attire, the same attire he was wearing the last time they met. Now, we don't know who this Anakin Skywalker is. I have a lot of different theories on who this might actually be, But if it turns out that it is Anakin Skywalker, then we will potentially see those flashback scenes here, as they will get to walk and look at everything that's happened, so that Ahsoka might be able to let go all of that guilt that she has for leaving Anakin Skywalker. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.